Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark. It's been a while, hasn't it? I've been snowed under. Well, as you can see from the intro, literally snowed under, but snowed under with work as well. It's been really busy. COVID, of course, is rampant again, and it causes kind of upsets in the school schedule, and it's just made me feel quite busy, and I haven't really had a chance to make a video. There's several tags I wanted to make, and several videos I wanted to make, and I thought it was going to be a bit better after the first week in January, but it hasn't turned out to be that way yet. So I thought I'd just come to you today with a little update, basically about what I've been reading, what I'm reading, what I'm currently reading, and that kind of thing. I haven't got such a good editing program at the moment. I could have done it on my phone, but I'm just doing it on the computer. So I'll put the books that I talk about at the end in kind of a shot, so you can see the ones I've talked about, at least the ones I've read. So that there we go. So yeah, I've done quite well, I think, for me. I've read 8 books so far, though some of them were very short. Doing the Reading Africa 2022 read along has meant that I've probably read a bit more than I would normally have done. And also I'm trying to make good use of Kindle Unlimited. And so far, I think it's worth it, but I'm not sure it's worth it on a monthly basis. So I think it's worth it to pay for a month. Commit yourself to getting only Kindle Unlimited books for a month, then cancel it or pause it, and then go back to reading other things. In that sense, it's definitely worth the I think it's £7.99. I'm not sure what the price is in the US, but certainly in the UK. It's around £7.99. So I don't think it's worth it every month, but it would be worth it, I think, a couple of times a year to give it a go. It helped me get hold of certainly one of the books I wanted to read for Reading Africa, which is The Desert Blues by Joshua Hammer. It's actually free online as well. It's a book about the music scene in Mali, and I've talked about it briefly, so I won't in a previous video, so I won't spend too much time on that. Another thing I got off Kindle Unlimited was Robin Hood, A True Legend, and this was kind of an academic essay really on the legend behind the Robin Hood story, and who perhaps may have been the real life inspiration for Robin Hood. And it was very good, actually. I really enjoyed it. There are a lot of colourful characters mentioned, and the writer Sean McGlynn is very good in putting forward his hypothesis as to who the real Robin Hood may have been. 2 books that I read. Oh, I already mentioned The Desert Blues, rather. And I had to read something from my own country that I drew, which was Gambia. And that was Reading the Ceiling by Deo Foster. I'm not sure how much I really liked it. It was interesting. The story kind of followed this young woman who decided that she wanted to lose her virginity. And she had 3 candidates in mind, and each option led to a different path in life. So it was interesting, but I wasn't bowled over by it. I'm not going to say too much because maybe you want to read it. I think it's worth reading it because it's always good to read something different, especially from a country perhaps you wouldn't normally read. But I'm not sure for me that it was really my cup of tea, but I'm glad I read it anyway. Another thing I read from the Kindle Unlimited trial that I'm doing is book number 6 in the Nawala series. I've mentioned them a couple of times on this channel. and this was Passage to Nawala, and the series is written by Harriet Steele. I think so far there are around 10 books, and I really love them. I mean, I guess they fall under the cozy mystery category. It follows the Inspector Shanti De Silva of the Nawala Police Department in British colonial Ceylon, present-day Sri Lanka, and each book really, just kind of has a different story, obviously, but this particular one, Passage from Nawala, was set on a cruise ship. He and his English wife, which is very unusual, I would say, for the 1930s, that the Sri Lankan man has a white British or English wife. They do occasionally come up against some kind of stuffiness, or I haven't seen like really open hostility or racism, but certainly they've been made to feel uncomfortable from time to time. But people within the town that they live in, Nawala, they kind of got used to the idea. But this follows them as they go on a cruise to Egypt, because he had promised her that one day he would take her to see the pyramids. And of course, somebody gets murdered, or maybe two people get murdered on the cruise ship en route. And his boss's boss is also on the same ship, of course, in a higher class. And it was excellent, as they all are. They're just good fun, it's some kind of escapism. I think they're really enjoyable. If you want something a little bit different and you like a good mystery and nothing too long but a quick read, then check out Harriet Steele's Nawala series. It's well worth your time. And then I've kind of been doing another little side project, which has been to try to read the complete works of H. Rider Haggard. You all know him as the author of King Solomon's Mines and She. I started with, I'm reading them in kind of chronological order rather than publication order. So I started off with Marie. It's very confusing because they all follow like in different series. So, it might be book number 5 in the Alan Quatermain series, but it might be book number 1 in the Zulu trilogy and this kind of stuff. So I read Marie, Alan's Wife, Child of Storm, and A Tale of Three Lions, and that's nothing to do with football. And they're excellent. There is, of course, a problem with Haggard's viewpoint these days, because he was a colonialist or an imperialist, and certainly he does use a lot of colourful and, let's be honest, racist language, which did make me groan. But I don't like saying "but" because there's no excuse. However, Haggard himself does seem very conflicted in his racism. So it's like he almost does it because it seems to be expected of him, maybe at the time. But quite often the native Zulu or other person of color in the book will end up being the hero, and they will usually get the white hero, Quatermain, out of sticky situations. And there's a lot of contradiction into how he expresses the relationship between the different races. I think I'm going to make a video on that once I've got more and more into them. I'll probably do it after I've read the Quatermain series as a whole. But I'm really enjoying them, and I mean, it's one of these Delphi classics, and it's fantastic that you can get everything an author wrote for not much money. And sometimes things aren't necessarily good, but so far I did enjoy all of them, except for, of course, the unacceptable instances of racial slurs and that kind of thing. So that's pretty much what I've read so far in January. I do have another couple of books on the go, and one I started yesterday is Beau Geste by P.C. Wren. I'm really enjoying finding these old classics online. A lot of them, well, most of them actually are in the public domain, so they are free for you to read. And they are classics for a reason. I don't know if any of you have seen the old film with Gary Cooper of Beau Geste, or if any of you have read the book. It was published in 1924, and it's really interesting. I have to say, I didn't know too much about it going in, but it's kind of turning into it's a mystery and really a whodunit. It starts off with two old friends, an Englishman and a Frenchman, meeting after a long time. They're both heading back to Europe from Africa. The Englishman's in the colonial service somewhere in Nigeria, and the Frenchman is a soldier in, I guess, present day, maybe present day Mali or Mauritania, somewhere that area. Algeria even, certainly in French North Africa. But the Frenchman has a mystery to tell him. So he tells him that when he and his soldiers went to relieve this fort down in the south part of French territory, they turned up and found like the fort intact and the flag was flying. However, there was nobody on the watchtower, but all the soldiers were situated around the ramparts. And as they got closer, they realized that the soldiers were all dead, and they'd been staged to look like they were ready for an attack. And when they get closer inside, they see that the officer had been murdered by a French bayonet. However, there's nobody around, and the question is basically who's responsible for this? Who killed the officer? Who staged these men to look like they were waiting for an attack? And it's really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Finding it pretty hard to put down. I actually almost stayed up well past my bedtime yesterday, trying to read more of it. And I will continue, of course, reading this. I'll continue with some more Haggard, and of course I will continue with the books I have to read for reading Africa, which has been really great. Although, as I say, unfortunately, I haven't been able to commit as much time to it as I would have liked, and certainly not as much time as I had back in this summer with the Euro tournament. So most of you, wouldn't be aware, but I did make a couple of update videos regarding that for the people involved. I just didn't release it on this channel normally, because I don't think if you're not taking part, you wouldn't necessarily want to watch them, because they just kind of give an overview of what happened in the football matches. We are compiling a list of all the books that people read from all the different parts of Africa. And once that's completed, I will make that available for everybody who wants to look at different books from Africa. Obviously, who are on this channel, they'll be able to go into the shared drive, Google Drive, and see the recommendations from all the people who took part in Reading Africa 2022. So there we have it. I hope I'm going to be back again this week with a video, because I've certainly missed it, and I miss talking to all of you and all the various interactions. But I did have a couple of moments free after quite a busy day, and thought I would just make this kind of quick update video. So there we have it. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you're all staying well and warm and healthy, and I look forward really very much till the time that we meet again. Do take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye bye.